നമസ്കാരം. കലാവേദി USA അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്ന ഗ്ലോബൽ റിപ്പോർട്ടർ വാക്കനാടി എന്ന പരിപാടിയുടെ ആദ്യ ലക്കത്തിലേക്ക് എല്ലാ മാന്യപ്രേക്ഷകർക്കും വിനയപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം. അമേരിക്കയുടെ എംപയർ സ്റ്റേറ്റ് എന്ന് വിശേഷിക്കപ്പെടുന്ന ന്യൂയോർക്കിൽ ഒരു പുതുതലമുറക്കാരന്റെ പ്രകമ്പനം കൊള്ളിക്കുന്ന വാഗ്ധോരണി എത്ര മലയാള മനസ്സുകളെയാണ് പുളകം കൊള്ളിച്ചതെന്ന് പറയേണ്ടതില്ല. പത്തനംതിട്ട ജില്ലയിൽ തായ്വേരുകൾ ഇഴപിരിഞ്ഞു കിടക്കുന്ന ഗൾഫ് മലയാളിയുടെ പ്രവാസ പരമ്പരയിലൂടെ കടന്നുവന്ന കെവിൻ തോമസ് 100 ദിവസങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ട് നിരവധി ബില്ലുകൾ സെനറ്റിൽ അവതരിപ്പിച്ച് അംഗീകാരം നേടാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ ഒരു പ്രതിഭ എന്ന നിലയിലാണ് രാഷ്ട്രീയ വൃത്തങ്ങൾക്കിടയിൽ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കപ്പെടുന്നത്. സെനറ്റർ കെവിൻ തോമസ് വാൽക്കണ്ണാടിയിലൂടെ വാചാലനാവുകയാണ്. ശ്രീ കോരസിനുമായി അദ്ദേഹം നടത്തുന്ന സംഭാഷണം നമുക്ക് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കാം.
Honorable Senator Kevin Thomas, welcome to Walkanadi program. Congratulations for your first 100 days as a state senator. And it's very interesting to hear from you how that 100 days started, in the Senate floor.
One word, accomplished. All right, in these first 100 days, what I needed done has been accomplished. If it deals with increased school funding, protecting our environment, bringing more money to help with gang prevention, capping property taxes at 2% here on Long Island, I would say the one word, accomplished. It started very well for me. I remember walking in, I believe it was January 5th, when I got sworn in over here at at a middle school here in Hempstead. And my colleagues from the state senate was here. Senator Schumer came, the lieutenant governor came, the Senate majority leader swore me in. And it felt like, it has been an amazing campaign year.
Right.
And now the real responsibility, the real job starts. So when session started, when the conference started, it was just amazing to see how government works. You're not an observer, you are part of the system now. You are basically reading the bills, you are discussing the policy, you're discussing the fiscal implications, and then your entire conference is voting. All right, you look at the policy, look at the politics part, and see whether this will actually work for New York State. I was also named the chairman of the Consumer Protection Committee.
Right.
Usually, freshman legislators are not given a chairman post.
Okay.
But
That's good to know.
Yes, so I was given that post, and I have the responsibility to watch over 20 million New Yorkers through that committee. It is a very powerful committee that is watching out for the welfare of consumers in this state. So that has been an important role that I'm playing in the legislature. I've been able to pass some of my bills that I have sponsored through that committee. I have co-sponsored many bills that have now passed into law, like the Child Victims Act, the Reproductive Health Act.
So we'll discuss the couple of your landmark bills in detail. But for 100 days, how you are excited that that's what
more than excited. I feel like what I campaigned on has come true. The promises that I made, I've been able to basically keep them in these first 100 days.
You were in the politics before, or you have this was
no.
How you ended up in the state senate?
I was a legal services attorney, worked in the Bronx, is the poorest congressional district in the country, and I saw how policy was making it really bad for the working class, the working poor, and I wanted to change that. All right, I realized if there is someone who has been fighting the good fight, goes into politics, right? They will watch out for the little guy. They will watch out for the middle class, the working class.
Well, coming back to your the laws, the bills you have been presenting about the school district. Your district is District 6, I think,
Yes,
right?
yes.
They got a lot of money this time. So you did a good job with the budget.
Thank you.
And you got a lot of money
You
for
know,
your district.
you are a good cheerleader for me, because like most people say, you know, we didn't bring back enough money. You know, we brought back a record $1 billion for our schools, and it's
That's a coalition of senators from New York, Long Island, or just
altogether. Altogether, this was $1 billion more than what the governor proposed in his budget.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the leader, Andrew Stewart Cousins, and the Transportation Chair, Senator Kennedy, for expediting this bill, because as representatives of the state, we have a responsibility to protect the public. I introduced this bill because it can save lives. Last month, there was a very tragic accident on Long Island where two LIRR trains crashed into a vehicle after the driver of the vehicle drove around the gates. 3 people died that night and injured many others on the 2 trains carrying over 900 passengers. Similarly, in 2015, a Metro North Railroad passenger train collided with a vehicle which had stopped on the tracks. According to the Federal Railroad Administration, accidents at railroad crossings have decreased over the past decade, except within the borders of the Empire State. The truth is that these types of accidents are preventable. If there was a red light camera at these intersections, the driver of these vehicles would have thought twice before driving around the gates to beat the train. A study done by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety confirms that red light cameras reduce fatal crashes, and that is what this bill would do. This bill would allow any local authority to install and operate red light cameras at railroad crossings. These cameras will find drivers who fail to stop at the signals indicating an approaching train. This piece of legislation will deter drivers and help save lives on Long Island and all of New York State. I vote aye. Thank you.
In relation to calendar number 254, those senators recorded in the negative are Senators Akshar, Antonacci, Flanagan, and Ranzenhofer. Ayes 57, nays 4.
The bill is passed. Senator Janaris.
Mr. President, let us pause to recognize that was Senator Thomas's first bill to pass the Senate.
MTA has a lot of waste, and
you talk about MTA's public audit, right?
the forensic
So
audit.
can you just talk
yes.
about that?
So we don't trust the MTA. All right.
Oh.
So the Long Island
love
6, the Long Island 6, we decided we need a forensic audit. And I'll tell you why. Just a couple of weeks ago, not a couple of weeks ago, last week, I did an interview with CBS2 where we caught them wasting money on contractors. So there's a third rail that they're building here on Long Island to improve the connectivity,
Right.
to improve service, and they were basically putting in their contract that if a contractor were to not annoy the neighbors while they're working, they will get an extra $250,000 every 3 months going forward.
Keeping silence.
Yeah. So that was shocking to me. You know, that betrayed my trust, because the MTA board and the heads there were coming to us begging for money, saying, listen, you have to help us. There's capital infrastructure that needs to be funded. If you don't help us, everything is going to go to waste. People are going to be very upset. You have to fund us. And then when you fund them, you see that they're wasting money on these kind of incentives. Unbelievable. I was furious when I found out.
Yeah, but the MTA is making a lot of improvements in the platforms, and that's
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's why they are using our money.
Right.
But to give an incentive to a contractor that is already obligated to do the job and getting paid for it is waste,
Right.
according to me.
And as you said, you were the chairman of the Consumer Protection. That's a high rating committee.
Yes.
So you're chairing. So what were your achievements during this period?
My biggest achievement from that is protecting student loan borrowers. So
that was a good thing.
yeah, that was the first bill that was passed through my committee. My first committee meeting, I passed a bill that would rein in student loan servicers. So these federal student loan servicers basically service more than $1 trillion in student loans, and they are unregulated. Here in New York, there are millions of individuals with student loans, and every time they go to these federal student loan servicers, they're being misdirected to programs or payment options that will make them pay more interest than needed.
Yeah.
Okay, and these are the kind of complaints that Betsy DeVos in the Trump administration has been receiving, and they would not take action. Right? They would close their eyes. They were picking the company over the student loan borrower. So what we did here in New York is we need to step up and protect our people.
Another thing I just want to ask you is the gun violence, and in the school districts and in Long Island there is a lot of gang violence.
Yes.
So did you do anything about that?
We secured over $11 million for gang prevention for Long Island specifically. It's not just MS-13 that is involved in the gang activity here on Long Island. There are a bunch of other gangs, and it's not just violence. They skim credit cards, they steal identities, and they distribute drugs. So there's a lot of money that's going towards gang prevention that way, after school programs to get kids out of the streets and into schools. We're doing everything that we can to try and curb this. And Commissioner Ryder and Madeline Singis, the district attorney, have been great at working with my office in trying to find the right solution for all of this.
On the contrary, the New York State is going to accept marijuana sale as legal, right?
No, that has been taken out of the budget. There has been no talk of it moving forward.
So it's a dead thing now.
It's dead at this point of session.
The reason I was talking about, if the state is proposing the Long Island is not going to.
Yeah, so it's just New York City. New York City is the only one that hasn't opted out. I believe that we should decriminalize marijuana possession and basically help individuals that have been put in jail, and most of them are minorities, to bring them back into society and help them. The whole student loan program was designed to bring people out of poverty. These days, you're putting kids in there forever, and they're then living with their parents for another 10 years. And this is not how it's supposed to be.
That's not the American dream.
No, it's not. They're giving out these loans at very high interest. Right? That's not like you're investing in someone's future. It shouldn't be at such high interest rates.
Why can't the federal government directly give the loans, lend the loans to the students?
No, they do. They do directly, right? And they're charging them a huge percentage.
Right.
And then they're hiring these servicers.
Sally Mae and all those.
Yeah, to service them. Sally Mae doesn't give out the loan. they service it.
Oh, you have any future plans? Any new bills coming up, or something you dream about, or?
Well, I have a couple of bills that are ready to go. One is the New York Privacy Act. All right. So most of us here have Facebook, and it's any online company, right? They're harvesting our data, and then they're selling it to marketers.
Okay.
All right. So I'm introducing a bill that would basically regulate them. They're going to have a fiduciary obligation to basically only share that kind of information if it's for our well-being. I'm also trying to promote our South Asian culture, the first South Asian, first Indian, first Malayali. So I am trying to do as much as possible culturally in Albany. I have resolutions talking about Holi, talking about Diwali, talking about Ramadan, talking about the New Zealand shootings. I'm going to have a resolution about Sikh Awareness Month. I'm going to do something about our culture, the Malayali culture, pretty soon. So as long as I'm here, I want to make sure that our culture is represented and we're doing a good job here.
You already made a point. Actually, the state senate, you are the first one in the Senate floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking like a senator.
Oh, thank you.
As a senator. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah, all the rest of my colleagues don't speak like senators.
Well, about the new incumbents coming up in the politics, like the South Asians coming up, so what is your advice for them, so to get into the politics?
I would say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of who the incumbent is. Don't be afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone. If you want to step up and stand for justice, or you see something that is a situation that can be changed through policy, and you've tried everything, and the only avenue left is to get into politics, get into the legislature to change things around,
Right.
that's a good goal, and you should find someone who has run for office, ask them for advice on how to do things properly, and then move forward from there.
And you just recently heard that what's happened in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And what's your opinion about it? Because it's globally affecting, and New York is very vulnerable.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It was Easter Sunday. I'm a Christian. I go to church to worship and to find that these cowards, these monsters were coming there just so that they can kill as many people as possible. It sickens me. And now news reports have shown that this was in retaliation over the New Zealand shootings.
Right.
They're just trying to make two religions fight.
And
it's
both are
horrible.
minorities there, right?
Yeah, it's just horrible what they're doing. Absolutely horrible. And someone needs to stop them. And that's why we have our intelligence services and our police departments here to make sure that our people are protected. The churches are protected, the mosques are protected, the synagogues are protected. It's just horrible that you're not even secure in a house of worship anymore. People run in there to talk to God. Now you're like in there and you're going to get killed and
Never know what happens.
yeah, it's just a horrible
Sad and-
situation.
yeah. You're talking to a global audience now.
Uh-huh.
Actually, the people from Dubai, where you were, your childhood days were there, and India too. So, for all those people, what's your message?
My message is we in America need more representation in government, as in South Asians, Malayalis especially. We tend to go into medicine, tend to go into engineering, tend to become lawyers, and no one else wants to do anything else. Politics
Right.
isn't bad. You know, it's all about taking care of someone else. You know, I consider myself like a social worker with power. You know, that's literally how this job operates.
Okay.
And
You're humble enough to say that.
yeah, I am. You know, I work for the people. You know, why am I doing this? At a stage when I think I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or like the government is divided and I can't get anything done, I'll get out of this. You know, there's no point.
We are proud that our Onam is also
Yes.
possible.
Listen,
Can you just talk about
being a Malayali, I had to introduce a holiday that most of us celebrate. That religious holiday bill talked about Diwali and Eid and even Good Friday, as a holiday. I wasn't talking about the Good Friday that most of us experience, but there is the Eastern Church that celebrates Good Friday later on.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
The
so
Eastern Church.
yes, the other church, like the Orthodox churches.
Right.
They celebrate Easter and they celebrate Good Friday later on, so I wanted to give them an opportunity. My whole intention of that bill is to bring everyone together. Some of them have sacrificed school days just to take off, and I wanted to introduce that bill so that we accommodate everyone.
Oh, that's excellent. So, how often do you visit to Kerala?
I visited 2 years ago for my brother-in-law's wedding.
Oh, okay. Where was it exactly?
That was in Patnamthitta somewhere.
Patnamthitta.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My dad's from Brahmi, so
Brahmi,
my
yeah.
mom's from Tiruvalla. But that's 2 years ago, but I go often.
Okay.
I stay as close to my culture as possible, watch Malayalam movies,
Who's your best actor?
I would say Mammootty. I would say Mammootty, but I've been told to watch Lucifer, where Mohanlal is playing some politician. They said, it's a good movie for you, Kevin. I'm like, okay. A lot of one-liners in there. So
Yeah. There's some point of politics in there.
Right.
That's why.
ഗ്ലോബൽ റിപ്പോർട്ടർ വാൽക്കണ്ണാടിയുടെ ആദ്യ ലക്കം ഇവിടെ പൂർണ്ണമാവുന്നു. പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട പ്രേക്ഷകരുടെ ക്രിയാത്മകമായ വിമർശനങ്ങളും പ്രോത്സാഹനങ്ങളും ഈ പരിപാടിയെ മികവുറ്റതാക്കാൻ ഞങ്ങളെ പ്രാപ്തരാക്കുമെന്ന് ഞങ്ങൾ കരുതുന്നു. ദയവായി നിങ്ങളുടെ അഭിപ്രായങ്ങൾ ഞങ്ങളെ അറിയിക്കുക. പുതിയ ലക്കവുമായി അടുത്തയാഴ്ച വീണ്ടും കാണാം. നന്ദി, നമസ്കാരം.